And that, boys and girls, is how you get iron. Oh my god, bro, that took so long. So that is me 14 hours after beginning to play this Minecraft world, just getting iron. But you may wonder, Finny, what's led you to play this Minecraft mod? Finny, are you deranged? And Finny, are you my dad? Well, the answer to all of those questions is to simply shut up and watch the video. Enjoy. So I spawn in the world not knowing exactly what to do, but my human instinct kicks in and I start punching grass. Then I moved on and upgrade to punching the deer. Now all of this may seem very pointless at first, but let me explain. This isn't your ordinary mod. In this world, gravel is the first thing you have to get because it drops flint. You take that flint, you knock it against a rock to get flint shards. Those shards are the only way you're gonna be able to gather grass, and grass is the most vital component in so many crafting recipes in this mod. You actually have no idea. Like, you collect 5 stacks, you think it's enough? It is definitely not gonna be enough. The next reason I punch the deer is because any deers that have antlers, they drop their antlers. I don't know what you were expecting. And basically you can take those antlers and use them to craft pickaxe. And basically this antler pickaxe is a very vital tool. It is very good for early game before you manage to get more advanced tools that you can use to mine starter ores and stuff. Now you see, that right there was my very first encounter with the terror bird. Well, it wasn't exactly an encounter, it was more of like, I heard it, I didn't really see it, but potato. Now, basically, the terror bird is one of very few predators in this world, and let's just say that bird is not to be played with. It is one of the most vile, the most bloodthirsty, the most vicious. That was anticlimactic, but I swear I did not lie about the deer. So I want to settle in a place that has a lot of potential, and also I want to be able to cheat getting sticks early game. So I'm gonna need some place like jungly. Oh yeah, kind of like that one over there. I think this is a great place to settle. I mean, there are cows, potential cows, there's a bunch of deers here, and there's a bunch of caves that I've seen. So I think this is gonna be a great place to settle. It has insane potential. First things first though, we're gonna need that antler pickaxe, and that means we're gonna have to massacre a bunch of male deers, who aren't exactly that many. We are literally mirroring real life in Minecraft. Oh, look at him right there. I think he knows what's up. He knows what's coming. That's why he's telling his family goodbye. He knows, so you better sneak up behind it, get him before he gets it. So I just recorded one of these intermission segments, and it turns out it was on audio only mode, and I had something cool to really show you. Like, there was a bunch of phantoms up there, like about 50. Right now they're about 3, but they're about 50. There were 32, and basically they were all over up there, and I was complaining about the phantom. Okay, anyways, that's irrelevant. Now that I've gotten your attention, basically the deer knew well to hide among the aurochs. There are 3 mobs in this mod, basically, that will gang up on you if you hit one of them. The first one is the aurochs, the second one is the wild boars, and the third, the mammoth. Spoiler alert, I did not find any mammoths in this video today, but let's just say those mammoths were monkeys in a past life, because in a previous world that I was playing in, they literally climbed a tree just to beat me up because I hit and killed one of them potentially. Please come here, please don't run. Oh my god. Please stop there. Stop. Yes, slowly. Why are you more scared than the... Wait, I heard that. Where is it? Come out. Where is that sound coming from? No, I swear, you better not sneak up behind me, bird. I swear to God, I will find you. And I will turn you into chicken. Hello? Are you around here somewhere? Okay, now you run. It took 5 business days to load that danger. The water looks nice. Okay, where is this bird? I heard you. Please come out. Okay, I think it's towards... I can hear you. Oh wait, 2 of them. 2 terror birds. That is great news. Just wait there for me. I will be right there. Hello there, did a prehistoric bird order a zesty 5-course meal? Oh my god, what is wrong with you? No, Jen, what the hell is wrong with you? You know what, just for that, you're gonna be the 5-course meal. Hi there, so, there's a message I want you to relay to your brother. Where is your brother, perhaps? Exactly, that's why I'm punching you. Okay, got sidetracked a bit. Come here. I wanted your antlers initially. Please stop running. It's for the greater good. Your horns will help human progression. Stop running. Oh my god, bro, you're making this so hard for yourself. I don't want to sprint because I will use up all my hunger, and food isn't exactly extremely renewable as it is in vanilla Minecraft. Can you please stop running? Wait, what if I push it in the water? Oh my god, he knew. I swear to god, he heard us. Bro, the sun has set already. Can you go to sleep so that I can slaughter you in your sleep? Please. Oh yeah. Combo. A third one? Oh my god. Oh yeah. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my god. Did he drop the antler? He dropped the antler. Let's go. Okay, we gotta calm down. We gotta calm down. Okay, you know what? I am feeling lucky. I feel like I can go 2 for 2. Come on. Yes. You better drop your antlers. I swear to god. I'm not doing all of these cool combos in order for you to not drop your antler. Drop it. Come closer. Yeah, come. Once more. Did he drop the antler? I generally can't tell if he dropped the antler. Oh my god, he dropped it. Okay, now we're gonna craft that pickaxe. Okay, it's very simple. I put that in the inventory. There it is, boys. We got our very first antler pickaxe. Oh my god, look at all those phantoms. I was not lying. Like, I didn't know they could track you when you're in creative. Anyways, let's ignore them. So, at this opportune point, I wish someone could have told me to basically save my pickaxe durability because it was going to become a huge problem later on. Now, the main reason I'm saying it was going to become a very huge problem later on was because of just the way the functions of the tools were, right? Like, basically the high tier tools, they could barely mine any, but that is too much spoiled. Let's go back to camp, and I think we're supposed to make a campfire so that we don't freeze to death. Just kidding, I didn't add that mod today, but I really needed to make a campfire because that was how I was going to be able to cook all of the venison that I got from the deer. Okay, so we need to find a place to settle and make a camp. Oh my god, who put that hole there? That is a hazard. I could have fallen down there. So I should find a place, preferably in the middle of this area, to make my camp. No, I don't want to settle like too far from the water, but I also don't want to settle too near it. What the fuck are you doing? Yeah, I need to find a place to make camp, then I can begin organizing how I'm gonna cook my venison. Are you broken? Okay, of course. No, run. He heard venison and he immediately... This is a water cave. Okay, I wanted to make like a base inside a water cave, but I guess that's out of the window. So I think we're gonna sleep under the stars. Okay, so I got sidetracked a bit, but I think it's a great opportunity to test our antler pickaxe. Let's get some coal. I think we'll need some coal. Stone Age. Let me get a bunch more cobblestone. I don't know what I'm gonna use the cobblestone for, because I've seen like majority of the crafting recipes are just bricks. You see, I don't know if we're allowed to mine that copper over there or it has to come through natural sources. But I feel like we're supposed to mine it. I don't know. We'll come and check later. But for now, I'm not entirely sure. So I have great news. I made this entrance to the cave, and I think the wisest thing to do is to make a camp like right here. Because I mean, it seems like a great area. It's kind of like in the middle of this area, like a wanted, and it's kind of flat. It's not too bad. You know, it's yeah. So let's just clear it, collect some grass fibers, and once I've collected enough sticks and pebbles, we can finally go around to crafting a fire pit. Now you see, I could say that this fire pit right here was the beginning of all of my problems in this world. Everything just kind of went downhill from there because everything that I needed to craft or to do just became more progressively worse and worse and worse as the world went on. So how exactly does someone use this thing? I still don't understand why it's see-through like that. Let me see if I can roast some of my venison. Um, hello? Are you okay? Bro, what is wrong with you? Like, work. Chicken? Chicken is not working. Technically, it's dinosaur meat. But oh my god, bro. Can you work? Cook? Fire? Yeah, flesh. Smelting, campfire. Campfire, do you mean I need to craft a campfire? No, Finny. You do not need to craft a campfire, and this is a common thing that you'll see throughout this video. It's because basically I feel like going to school has basically made us dumber in a sense, because for most like basic tasks, like the most simple things that you need to think of, you basically go ahead overthinking it to the point where you don't just think straightforward how things are supposed to go. Yeah, this is gonna be a very long video. Okay, so basically I figured out that I'm supposed to light the fire pit in order for it to be lit. I feel like that's kind of common sense. The way to do it is to use 2 sticks like that. Simple. Very simple. Then I put my venison and it should start cooking. Why isn't cooking? Bro, I even covered the fire pit because I discovered that when it rains, sometimes it could extinguish the fire pit. Bro, why aren't you cooking my meat? Am I supposed to like... It is right click with burnable objects to increase the level by formula, whatever. So basically this thing has to be fueled. Can I fuel it with a stick? Okay, of course. Oh, I can fuel it with a stick, but of course it went off. It went off. And just like that, we have fire. Now we just gotta make sure this thing is fueled, but it's cooking so slow. We gotta make sure this thing is fueled and then it'll basically cook like crazy. I can't keep using sticks for fuel. Can we use something else? Wait, still on the topic of fuel, I think saplings are flammable, right? Oh my god, we can use saplings as fuel. That is a massive game changer. Oh my god, that is bright. Okay, that last one didn't change anything, but look at all those logs there. How fast is it gonna cook now? It's still progressively slow in terms of cooking, but we gotta grab all of these saplings that we planted here. It's progressively slow for cooking, but I think that's exactly why the game wanted us to like progress, and basically we might be able to craft a furnace very soon. So the fire pit has been very helpful, but I think we're gonna have to craft a campfire because No? What you mean no? Yeah, that's right. Look away. Eat your grass. You fucking herbivore. I will eat you, I swear to God. Yeah, you bringing me attitude. I will eat you. Yeah, that's right. Walk away. Be intimidated by all this awesomeness. Now you see, surprisingly, the cow was right. I couldn't just go ahead and craft a campfire like how I normally used to do, because in order to craft things, you need a crafting grid. Now, the only crafting grid in my position at the moment was my 2x2 crafting grid in my inventory. But in order to craft a campfire, I'd need it a lot bigger. I'd need the actual crafting table. But you see, making a crafting table in this world isn't anything short of easy. So first of all, you're gonna need to craft one of those like the base crafting space, whatever. And why the fuck is it see-through? So the first thing you're gonna need to do is place 9 planks at the bottom, 9 planks at the middle, and a piece of leather on top. And bada bing bada boom, you have the crafting table. That's simple. This is how I crafted the leather, by the way. I just didn't show it earlier. Now, you see, another issue that I was dealing with while recording this is the fact that my mind was all over the place. There was just so much to do in like the crafting table when I checked JEI, and basically I kept on getting distracted by things that couldn't matter. Now, you see, at this opportune point, the next logical thing to craft would have been a campfire. Except, I didn't craft the campfire. I decided to go ahead and craft this strainer, because if you don't know what this strainer does, basically this strainer allows you to like filter gravel, sand, and a bunch of useful minerals from the water if you place it under a flowing water block. But basically, crafting this strainer required a lot of wood, so I basically just crashed out and I went to do farming as a coping mechanism. Boy, was that a mistake, and I will show you why later on in the video. Okay, so I think we're gonna have to do some farming a bit, and the reason I want to do some farming is because we're gonna need food. Food is gonna be a major issue, and I think if we kill everything and they just die, they don't like respawn, so farming is gonna be very essential. A seedy place. Glad to know that advancement didn't change. Let us see where exactly my seeds make me reach. Wait, I missed one. Boom. Totally planned. I'm just that good. And from the crafting table, we're gonna have to craft the camp. What do you mean they changed the campfire recipe? That's right, they changed the recipe. That's why I'm saying this mod was nothing short of frustrating every moment of the way. Oh my god, those are so... Oh my god. So apparently, in place of the coal in a campfire, you're supposed to place a lit torch, but you gotta craft an unlit torch the normal way and right click it on a fire source to bring forth light onto this world. And then using all of the lit torches, you can finally craft a campfire. I see, initially I was gonna complain about the fact that it requires me to go an extra step in order to craft torches, but you see, I realized the thing is, if I could put coal in the middle, then I'd be using 4 times more coal than I'd be using if I just used steel torches. So crafting an actual bed currently is way above my pay grade, but the rain is kinda annoying, so I think we can craft a grass bed. Yeah, we can craft a grass bed. I need three. That is not too hard. I wanna see if I can skip the night, because I'm assuming the grass bed works exactly like a normal bed. The only thing it doesn't do like a normal bed, according to the wiki, is that it doesn't let you like set your respawn point there. So like that, and then 3 grass on top, and we got ourselves a grass bed. Now where are we gonna place? Right here. Okay, so make that two things it can't do. Set your respawn point and apparently stop the rain when it's raining. So you see, at this very opportune moment, I decided that it was time for me to upgrade from basically flint and bone tools to metal tools. But the very first set of metal tools you're gonna be making was going to be copper tools. And oh boy, this was just probably the first taste of how crafting all of these metal tools was going to be super hard. I gotta admit, the crafting recipes and methods are very ingenious, but that doesn't make them less annoying than they are. Now you see, as usual, we're gonna need to smelt all of our copper in order to be able to get the copper base material, which are copper ingots for the copper tool. But you see, this isn't any ordinary smelting. No, you're gonna need a smelter, and not just the normal vanilla furnace. You're gonna need an actual smelter made of clay bricks, and in order to do that, first of all, you're gonna need to craft a furnace. Now, basically what the furnace does, it's gonna allow you to get like the brick shape bricks that you're gonna need for the smelter. And in order to get those bricks, once you get the furnace done, you're gonna need to craft like a brick mold. Then you're gonna grab all of your clay, mold it using the brick mold, which thankfully it doesn't like eat up all of your bricks. Then once you've molded them up with a brick mold, you take those bricks, you put them through a furnace. Once those bricks have gone through a furnace and they're actual brick, you're gonna craft them 4 and 4 into actual brick blocks, and then using those brick blocks you're gonna have to create another 3D platform, another furnace, and then after doing all of that thingamajig, you have furnace. And this is the simplest of these advanced processes, by the way, so buckle up. So in order to make metal tools, you're gonna have to pour the metal into this clay mold. In order to get the clay molds, you're gonna need like an unfired ingot mold. And in order to get the unfired ingot mold, you just combine it with clay. And we can only get that using beeswax. So we're gonna have to go ahead and start farming bees. Why is it beeswax though? Yeah, so that meant I had to chop a bunch of trees, pick a bunch of flowers, and replant the flowers and plant trees next to the flowers. Because as you all know, basically trees have a very small chance of spawning with a beehive if planted next to a flower. And after about an hour to 1 hour and a half of basically chopping trees, replanting trees, and AFKing, we got our first beehive. Wait, is that a beehive? Oh my god, it's a beehive! Oh my god. I have never been so glad to see bees. Bees are so adorable. Arguably the most adorable mobs in Minecraft. Immediately I got that tree with a beehive, it basically loomed over me how basically screwed I was and I hadn't accounted for it. Basically in order to get beeswax, I'm gonna need to get honeycombs, because if you smelt honeycombs, you get beeswax, but in order to honeycombs, you need shears, and shears are made of metal. Any metal actually, from copper all the way to iron. But you see one problem, I was getting beeswax so that I can make the ingot mold, so that I can use that as a basis for crafting the shears that we need to basically harvest the honeycombs and use those honeycombs to make molds to get the metal that can be used to craft tools. So this was basically just like a merry-go-round, and I decided coping again by chopping down tree. Except I didn't, but instead I decided to go ahead and look at how exactly I'm gonna be able to get these copper shears, and guess what, I figured it out. And it's actually a pretty long process, longer than I had expected. So first of all, I'm gonna take the copper ore. I'm gonna make a pestle and mortar, a stone pestle and mortar. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the copper ore in the pestle and mortar, and I'm gonna crush it to get crushed copper. I took bricks, then I made a mold of it on the sand mold, then I basically put it in the furnace with the crushed copper, and now we should get copper ingots. Except it didn't work. Now you see the main problem I was realizing here, that I couldn't actually figure out why it's a problem in the first place, was why my copper wasn't smelting. Now you see, basically every single item in this game has a certain temperature that the furnace has to reach in order for it to smelt. But you see, basically my furnace temperature was too low and I didn't notice this until after a whole ass hour of trying to figure out the problem. Because while I was looking at my JEI, I realized that basically the furnace chimneys, they add temperature or remove temperature depending on whether they've been added to the furnace or removed from the furnace respectively. And this becomes a much bigger issue when I'm trying to get some of the bigger metals, as you will see later on. So basically what I did is I put 4 chimneys in the furnace and finally it smelted. I got a bunch of copper ingots, then I made a saw, I made a file, and finally I was able to craft copper shears and get my first vat of beeswax. And of course, it only gets worse from there. And then I decided to upgrade my strainer from a twine mesh to a copper mesh, because basically the copper mesh is going to allow me to get much higher tier metals, which I'm going to be able to use to craft even better stuff that I'm going to be using to progressing. Oh, and also I made a full set of copper tools and weapons, and I logged off for the night, and that was day 1. Day 2 began with me chasing my ambitions to become a potter, and I made a clay bucket and I got some water, and I still don't remember why I did that because it wasn't really useful in the end. Anyways, I decided that I wanted to try my venture in animal keeping, so basically I created fences that used nearly 5 stacks of logs. By the way, everything in this mod is so expensive. And then I brought in some aurochs. I see the main idea behind breeding is that if you breed certain mobs for long enough, eventually their later generations will evolve to become domestic animals. I don't know if that's evolving or devolving, but you interpret it as you wish. And also, if you haven't noticed, since like the 22nd minute mark, I've sounded a bit weird. It's because I've been sick for about 3 days. This video could have come out 2 days ago, but I've been sick for an entire 3 days and I couldn't even speak properly. But now I'm doing great, and here we are. So I decided it was high time I upgraded from copper tools to high tier metals to make it easier for me to be able to build a house and a farm that I was planning to build. So I went to my strainer, I grabbed the ores, then I went back to my smelter to begin smelting all of the ores. As usual, I crushed the galena, put it in a furnace, and waited for it to smelt. And I see one problem was that it wasn't smelting because the furnace wasn't hot enough, but when I decided to add a chimney on top of it, the chimney kept breaking off. Now you see, I pondered on this for about 5 minutes until I checked JEI, and guess what? You can make reinforced chimneys. A reinforced chimney basically needs 4 reinforced bricks to craft, and 1 reinforced brick requires 4 copper plates and 4 copper nails. To make 1 copper plate, we're gonna need 2 iron ingots. To make 1 copper plate, we're gonna need 2 copper ingots. To make 1 copper plate, we're gonna need 2 copper ingots, and to make 1 iron nail, we're gonna need, and to make 1 copper nail, we were gonna need 192 copper ingots, and we didn't have that much copper, so I just logged off the game, only to come back a few hours later to begin on this venture.
Later.
I came back from a burnout break thinking I was ready to grind. I wasn't, so I needed to craft chimneys. Did I craft them? No, I did productive procrastination instead. I smelted bricks, I bred aurochs, I made a pond by the bee tree, and then, get this, I bred the aurochs again. I'm basically a glorified zookeeper at this point, anything to avoid the copper mine. So I got tired of my base and decided to go and do some exploring. I found a place where there were a bunch of deer, so I killed some deer, I kidnapped some mufflons, and finally did the copper grind. This was 2 hours after I came back from that break, by the way. I built 3 furnaces just to make 1 alloy smelter, and finally crafted the reinforced chimneys that I needed to increase the temperatures that I needed to smelt galena into lead. And guess what? Lead is a lower tier than stone, so it's fucking worthless. Tin? Also worthless. I'm out here playing Industrial Waste Simulator instead of actually getting somewhere. At this point, I made a decision to just go ahead for bronze because bronze is a tier below iron and it will be the sweet spot for me to be able to do stuff before I get iron. But you see, the math is actually evil. To make 1 ingot of bronze, you need 9 copper. 9! Copper is the new gold and I am broke. I made a bronze mesh to pray to the RNG gods for some iron because you can get iron through the strainer. I think, I'm not entirely sure. At this point, I was tired of all of the crafting and all of the mining and all of the smelting, and I decided that all I want to do is build a house. I wanted to use mud bricks for the house. Simple, right? No. Building mud bricks in this mod needs you to make packed mud, and in order to make packed mud, you need wheat. To grow wheat, you need water. But farming this back is kinda weird and finicky. It literally consumes the water source that you're using to hydrate the land. I tried building aqueducts, but my brain is too small to make them work. The only other option other than that was draining the entire ocean. And look, I'm obsessed, but I'm not that obsessed. We're moving on. Mining wasn't any good either because I soon realized that the mining values were bugged. What I mean by that is that basically every single pickaxe up to bronze could not mine anything better than a stone pickaxe would. This meant that the angular pickaxe would be the only pickaxe that I'd have to rely to, but that simply couldn't slide. I had to go manually into the configs and configure every single tool so that that wouldn't happen. And eventually I got some iron ore. Smelting the iron itself wasn't as easy as doing it straightforward in vanilla. First of all, you need a bronze anvil. There goes all my copper. Then in order to get the iron extract, you gotta alloy it with the charcoal to make an iron bloom, and then you're gonna hammer it in the bronze anvil like your life depends on it. And finally, an iron pickaxe. 15 hours. And look, the rain even stopped just in time for the video to end. Scripted? I wish. I generally don't know how YouTubers do these 200-hour challenges. I've done 15 and I'm already ready to retire. I don't think I'm cut out for this. See ya.